Hey, thanks for calling the Beards and Sundries Market. You've reached Jay. Leave a message after the tone.
Hello, beardos. Just wanted to wish all of you a happy new year. And also, I realized that I had an assignment to do that I have not yet completed. So here it goes. He did it! The son of a bitch did it! Take care.
You've reached the Beards and Sundries podcast, where things get gay. And hilarious. You've made it past seasons 1, 2, and 3. Now, you've reached season 4, the hottest season yet. This season's gonna be the tits. Now, sit down, strap on, in, and get ready to laugh your asses off with your 3 bearded hosts, because they've been waiting all week to get you hot for this show. Now, welcome your hosts, Jay, Anthony, and Joe.
And welcome back.
Oi, bruv!
Oh my god, no, don't do that.
No, don't bring that shit into this season either. Hello.
Leave it at the door. Welcome back to this season of Beards and Sundries, Season 4, Episode 1.
That's right, guys. It's time for the first lunch break of Season 4 here at Beards and Sundries, the shop where 3 gay men with beards do inventory on a new sundry in each episode.
Yay, my name is Jay, and I can't go out. I'm sick.
Boo, you whore. I'm Anthony. I'm Anthony, and paid sick leave should be compulsory in the richest country in the world.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
But where's the profits?
There's the problem. And I'm Joe, and you won't catch me near a Planet Fitness or a Whole Foods market until at least February. Because today's sundry is 2024. That's right, beardos. Say it with me. New year. New me.
A new life.
I don't do that stuff anymore. I gave it up. Whenever I gave up corporate America.
Well, good for you. That's right, beardos. It's that magical time of year where everyone reinvents themselves in one way or another. Today, we're going to chat about some recent current events, what we hope to see this coming year, and what the new year means to us. Later on, we've got some fun beardo-submitted sundries, something to check out that has certainly opened my eyes. Oh, and then, it'll be time. What time is that? It's time to build the 2024 bingo card.
Yeah.
But before we get too far into it, how about this week's voicemail?
Happy New Year, Derek,
Finally.
with a good beard.
We needed that soundbite. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
We did. What a way to bring in season 4.
Nobody else can record sounds like that. Only you. So you do have a job on this podcast, and you're not paid. So thank you.
We aren't paid either, but, you know.
Right.
Just be glad it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. You're winning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're doing better than us.
Yeah.
But, Joe, can you tell me, weren't we supposed to be talking about being sick first in the sundry aisle?
Yes, that's where we keep all of the Ozempic to keep all of us gays healthy and fit. But if you guys are new to the show and you're wondering just what the hell a sundry is, the term comes from an old English word meaning odds and ends. Now, today it's used mainly in retail to group together items that don't typically have a group of their own. So, as 3 not very new gay men with beards, we are using the term to group together the wide range of topics that we cover.
I thought we were supposed to be talking about why everybody was sick at first, and that's what we talked about the other day. And so that's why
Yeah, we're gonna do it first.
Yeah, I know. But I thought that was the original topic.
Well,
so
you did a good spin.
Confused. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sick, I literally just got a text from my boyfriend that my dog threw up in the living room while he's out there.
Oh no!
And he's like, he threw up, and I'm like, tee, I can't help right now.
Oh my!
Sorry, we're in the middle of the podcast.
Sorry, I'm on break.
And I'm like,
Send
oh,
him
that
that and see
sucks.
what he says. Oh my god, I dare you.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to do at the moment.
Well, before we dive too deep into our loose conversation, you might notice, Beardos, if you're watching the YouTube version of the pod, you might notice a couple things. One, no matter whether you're watching or listening, you may have noticed that our intro is a little different.
Why? Because
Because we said so.
Just because. I don't have to really have a reason. Because it sounded fun. We want to let our creativity.
Yeah, seriously. We did this for you. So
We love you.
Enjoy it. Or don't. I don't care. Caw.
You also might notice that we are not in our traditional dress code attire. We are actually wearing whatever the hell we want to this episode because we're going to turn January into a bit of a casual month. So for all the episodes this month, we're not going to be wearing the black polos. We might get back into it in February. I don't know. It's still work in progress. We'll see.
Corporate's
But for
testing
now,
this casual.
so for now, enjoy the casual outfits and, enjoy the casual us.
Casual tits. Mine are saggy today in this shirt, but oh well.
Mine are always saggy.
So that's the new stuff. Keep an eye out for anything else new, I guess, in case we change our minds in the middle of the
we'll have a
season,
little bit
because
more
that's
of
what
a
we do.
loose format with what we do in our episodes. So we've already been sort of relaxing the structure in the past couple of seasons, and now we're going to try to relax it even more. And, we'll give you the content you've been expecting, but I think we're going to let our initial conversations flow a little bit. So maybe our topics won't be as predetermined as we might say they are.
And before long, we'll be so relaxed that you'll just be listening to us sleep for half an episode.
People make money on that on TikTok.
You're going to hear my CPAP. It'll sound like this.
Well, it depends if I bring my CPAP in here or not. Otherwise, you'll hear...
Yeah. If I don't bring my CPAP in here, you'll hear...
Well, you won't hear me for roughly 33 seconds, then you'll hear a gasp, and I'll wake up and I'll be like, what's happening? And then I'll go right back to sleep.
I won't wake up. Joe will be awake, though, and he'll know. He'll be like, did he die this time? Is this the end?
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned health issues as a whole because you did talk about the sickness. And I mean, I know we've talked about it a little bit before, and you guys have both been sick. I was sick first, and then you guys were sick, and then Anthony got sick again. And then I've got a little bit of lingering sinus stuff. I don't think it's a head cold or anything coming back, but it's there's something happening there, minor. But it's just, does anyone feel like everyone's just sick all the
Everybody's
time?
fucking sick. Everyone's sick.
My office, everyone's constantly out sick. And, post New York, I've been sick that whole time. I've had sinus drainage. It's just been hacking up phlegm constantly. Except this morning, which is recording morning, which is a Thursday, I was in the shower and I actually did my morning clearing for the past few weeks. And I have never had that large of wad of phlegm come out. And I was in the shower and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
Jay, are you still talking about your sinuses or some other
Beardos?
kind of morning wad and clearing out?
Listen.
And Beardos, you'll note that that's what it sounds like when Jay clears his wad.
At
During
5
his morning
a.m.
clearing, as he put it.
there's not that clearing happening. I'm not awake enough, and I don't think my member is awake enough for that.
When you said clearing, all I could think of was the Publishers Clearinghouse, and you're just showing up to the shower with a giant check, and you're like, all right, time for the clearing.
He just leans in, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I never win anything.
And it's written out to the master bathroom shower, and the prize dollar amount is my wad. Yep.
And my shower's like, oh my God, I never win anything. No, I'm kidding.
Season 4.
And you're like, oh my wad, oh my wad, oh my wad.
That's my wad. You can't give that away.
Anyway.
So I got sick right at the very end of November, beginning of December, when our friends Zach and Toad came to visit. Like, December 1st, I got sick. And I felt bad because they were flying in, so it's not like I'd be like, hey, don't show up.
Get off the plane midair.
Hey, can you turn around real quick?
And then, so I got sick, and then I was fine for the duration of them being here. I felt like crappy, but I didn't feel bad enough that I had to like stay inside or do anything like that. And then Wednesday after that, I got a fever, and I got like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, my baby
it put
boy
me
got
down
chills. Oh.
It put me down for like the 15th of the month, and then I was fine for a couple of days, and then I got fucking sick again. And then I just got better like 3 days ago.
Yeah, you went up and down for a couple weeks there.
Yeah,
Well,
whole month.
Maybe,
Whole month
maybe if
kicked
you weren't
my
such a
ass.
bitch.
I don't know what to do about that.
The best part of it was you had one more little like flare-up episode with your sickness right before New Year's Eve, and we had planned to have our friends Matt and Kaylin, and then Joel and his new boyfriend Dylan were possibly going to come over. And the whole day he was like, "Man, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of touch and go. We might see how this goes." And then then Matt and Kaylin texted, and they were like, "We're kind of feeling crummy. We're just going to stay home." And we're like, "Okay, we're just going to cancel the whole thing and just stay home." And Matt and Kaylin are those great friends that like every time we make plans, there's something in the air where one of us wants to cancel, but it's like a competition of who will do it first, but without doing it too quickly. And it's just perfect friendship.
I do
Although
love that
I
kind of
do-
friendship where we all agree on that.
Yeah, but Matt and Kaylin are easy to spend time with too, so it doesn't matter if they cancel or not, or if anyone
Yeah.
else
Right.
cancels. But it is really funny to like when it happens. We have this candle that they gave us that the scent smells like canceled plans. I've yet to light it, but I always threaten to light it.
Well, I was about to say, anytime they cancel it, I don't know why you don't light it and just send a picture of it.
I mean, I think about it all the time.
Well,
I don't want to use it
All
too
the time.
fast. I don't know.
I mean, Anthony, you can literally just light it, take a picture, and then go.
Hey, Jay, you ask a lot of fucking questions.
I'm just checking the logic on this. That's all.
But it was funny because the next morning on New Year's Day, I woke up and Joe was making bacon in the kitchen, and I couldn't smell it.
Oh,
like,
COVID. You got COVID, bitch.
I thought for sure, because then I went to I made gravy. I get like biscuits and gravy with sausage gravy, and I was like, Joe.
Oh,
when
yeah,
did you
my
taste the
recipe?
gravy? It is your recipe. It's made better though because I make my own breakfast sausage. So fuck off.
Oh, with your wad.
I'm sorry.
No, that
You're-
part comes in
you're the
later.
one. Yeah. You're the one.
Or should I say
blowing
it
the
comes out later? It's exactly what it sounds like.
wad. You gotta have a
The morning clearing.
Anyways, so I had to have Joe taste the gravy because I couldn't taste anything but salt and spice.
And everything nice.
I mean, that's my favorite parts of the food, but other people like other things.
Well,
Anyways, I took a COVID test the next day after wearing a mask to work, because I don't get paid sick leave, so I couldn't just not go.
No one gets COVID leave anymore.
if they look at me and they're like, why are you here when you're sick? And I'm like, profits. Because you need profits.
Someone think of the shareholders.
I look at them and I'm like, because I want to use my sick time for when I really actually can't come in. I can come in and be sick, but if you want me to stay home sick, then I have to be on my deathbed to not come in and get those hours.
If I'm going to be sick,
best.
it's going to be like FMLA. Like, I am out because I've been hit by a car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am
I'm
not using my
sick
personal
time because I
vacation
had the
time.
sniffles. Exactly.
The good news is I didn't have COVID though, because I took a COVID test
Oh,
that afternoon.
well, that
and
sucks.
I was fine. So, what? What do you mean it sucks? Fuck off!
I just thought
Why
it'd be
are
a
you so
better
spicy
story,
this
but it
episode?
ended so lame.
Oh, because it ended with you. Boom.
Oh! Well, you're right. Actually, speaking of New Year's, the friends that we met while we were in New York that got sick also, that me and them were sick at the same time. They came back, and the day after, they immediately, I think they believe they had RSV. And since December, let's see, we were there 8th through 10th, December 11th. They have been
busted.
That's it. They're gone. I'm moving into their house next week because it's much nicer than mine.
Like in Final Destination.
No, a glass window fell on one of them, and then I can't even remember what else that happened.
Derailed.
Yeah, roller coaster derailed.
Had me for a millisecond, and then oh yeah, that's the second movie.
But one of them I literally was just with today after work, and his cough is atrocious still. He has yet to get over it. They both are still suffering side effects of some sort from that one sickness.
My boss
I've heard RSV is rough.
months ago, and he still has a cough.
I felt so bad. We're driving, and he's like, I sound like I've smoked for years, and I'm about to die of cancer. And I was like, well, you do. You're right. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, you sound like shit.
You sound terrible. What are you going to have?
The prices I printed on my back.
Prices are printed under the flaps of my bag.
I gotta get the 12 a.m. bus to Nutley.
We gotta get home now. I've got a wad waiting for me. Oh God! Now I'm gonna cough when I laugh. I'm at that point in my life.
Yeah, I still have like lingering, I guess congestion, like chest congestion, but it's like in there. It's fucking concrete, baby. It is tough to get out.
I will say one thing that helped me was my mommy every Christmas makes homemade cinnamon candy, and she gives you just like this gallon plastic bag full of it. So she gave me and Frank each a plastic bag full of it, and it's the best throat lozenge ever. It's spicy, but it just, oh my God, it feels so good, and your sinuses start draining, so it's been pretty beneficial.
Is it the chat? Did you put chat in there?
I think she skipped the chat this year.
But it's not that spicy.
Yeah,
She's yeah, it's not spicy. It's not spicy enough for me, bitch. Make another.
This is the Karen Silkwood batch.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Karen Silkwood. I kind of want to watch that movie again now that I think about it.
Joe has the book. I almost called it the book, but a book on the killing of Karen Silkwood.
I can't believe that's not very far away from us either.
I can.
What was it, 70 something?
It's near Guthrie, right?
You meant physical distance. I was talking about time. It was like, I was going to say it's like half a century, Jay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Taco Bell's not that far away. It's like 30 years that way. You know?
I'm sorry.
You know,
I just don't.
Hey, how far
think
away is
that
Jay's
people-
house? It's
Hey,
about 3
hang
decades south.
Hang on. We don't talk about historical events in the context
You know-
of distance.
every fucking
just
day I have to
doesn't-
drive
we talked
14
about
years.
how long ago they were.
I have to drive 14 years to work and then 15 back because traffic's so bad.
You guys are fucking stupid. You're terrible at. No. I hate this podcast. Why did I even come back to this? We took a break. I thought, maybe I could just not come back. But I did it. Did it for you. Here we are.
I just imagine this flashback to right before, and it's Anthony going, season 4 is going to be so fun. I'm going to love it. And then we flip now, and he's just like, fuck all of you. I fucking hate you. Just gets up and stomps out.
But yeah, I feel like everybody in our office has been sick. I wore a mask to work for a couple of days until I realized I didn't have anything communicable.
That's
And even
polite.
then, people, I actually started thinking like, I might just wear a mask to work like every fucking day. Because all the people that I didn't want to talk to didn't talk to me.
I didn't like it for the 2.5 years I had to do it.
So that's the thing, is that I don't have to wear it all day like you did. I just wear it between like whenever I'm not in my office. And then when I'm in my office, I just don't wear it because I close the door.
It's just an incubus of gross you in there.
Yeah. And then people knock on my window to like come in, and then I put the mask on and they're like,
Oh, that does
Yeah.
sound nice. Maybe you should keep a mask at work all the time.
Somebody comes up and asks you a question like,
I put some in my drawer just to make sure.
You should start different masks. Like, do a Trump mask or like a hockey mask like Jason, or like a Chucky mask and like run at the door and see what they do?
If I did a Trump mask, people would be like, yeah, because I work in
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oklahoma.
I don't do manufacturing, but I'm in Oklahoma, and we are in a manufacturing plant. My office is, so like everybody there is a little.
I think you should go a completely different direction. When somebody knocks on your door, you should go occupado.
They know. That's why they're knocking.
I've got a window on my door, Jay. How could they not know?
You should just make a really, really bad mannequin of yourself to see if you can fool anyone.
Oh my god.
Oh.
No.
Great.
Let's take a picture of your office empty and then tape it in the window.
Keep it to the window.
So that way, it always looks like you're not in there.
I would love that. Because I've thought about that several times. Because the way my office is, it sits facing like this sort of common area, and people are always out there. And there's like a dartboard out there. There's little, what is that stupid little beanbag? Yeah, I know.
Cornhole?
Play games and shit.
Oh, cornhole. Something about
Tiny
your hole in
cornhole.
corn.
Not big, but it's,
There's also a
my hole's
beanbag
not that
game.
Anyways, they're always out there like playing games, and I feel like a fucking fish on display. And even though I'm in my office playing games too, I'm feeling guilty like for being on my phone messing around while they're out there throwing darts. Like they're gonna be like, "Oh, I see you not working in there. Throw a dart."
Okay, hear me
So
out.
play a dart game on your phone and be like, oh,
Guys, I like you. Let's take multiple pictures. One of like your empty office, one of you like slumped over your desk, one of you like all sorts of just different scenarios, and just swap
one of
them
the
out.
Windows XP background.
Have like a screen up there, and it's
A
like
blue
the
screen.
Windows logo that's always constantly like bouncing around like the screensaver, but
Yeah.
it's the corner.
Or DVD logo.
Or it only hits the corner.
Oh no! Oh,
So you
I
just
don't
hear-
like that at all.
Yeah, why did I get so distressed when you said hits the
felt
corner?
Yeah.
Like I'm over there going,
that's something that-
ah.
That's something that would put the who was it, Mitch McConnell into a coma.
That put me into a
The
coma.
DVD logo only hitting the corners.
But never
Good
the one
God.
across from the last one it hit.
Oh yeah, it only keeps hitting the 3 same corners and will never hit one more.
Okay, calm down, Satan's. Right.
Why is that so
I'm thinking,
disturbing?
though, final option, my office, but we Photoshop lots of blood everywhere. But no body.
Yes.
Just like, and
Let's
that's
just skip the Photoshop. You got blood?
I need it inside of my body.
Oh, I was going to
free
offer to
blood
like
around?
Sweeney Todd the whole office for you. No, just you in that whole office. Sorry.
Most of them are fine. Oh, you were going to Sweeney Todd me?
Yeah, you. Anthony,
Why
I don't
did
know
you-
these other people. I can't do that to them.
Let me give you a list.
Au contraire, mon frere.
You can never Sweeney Todd a stranger. You have to do it to people you know.
You wouldn't download a purse. That stupid fucking anti-piracy commercial. You wouldn't Sweeney Todd a strain. Bitch, give me that. Yeah.
I love how you're using both hands to use like the razor. You're like, wah, wah, like it's a two-handed weapon.
It's a crosshatch pattern,
It's a baby machete.
like a braided challah bread, like that, but with
Don't you talk about bread like that. That sounds awesome. I want to get bread and then eat.
Ooh, actually, right before I got on here, I ate Jersey Mike's and had some delicious bread. So
Yeah, but what did you have for dinner?
What kind of sandwich did you have? Answer the question.
I did
Yeah,
number 8, the
seriously.
club.
What does that even mean? What else on the club? Explain it to me. I've never had
I don't
a club
fucking know.
before.
I did it. It's got bacon.
Isn't traditionally a club like
Oh,
3 different
okay.
lunch meats plus bacon?
Yeah,
Plus
it's like
tomato?
just
yeah, pretty much.
It's like a BLT with different meats and cheeses added.
And the only thing-
because it's the
the
whole club.
Yeah, and the only thing I don't get from Jersey Shore, Jersey Shore, Jersey Mike's, is the situation.
Jay wants smush smush.
Oh my god! You want that toasted? No, I want it smushed.
I want it smushed in my smush room. Oh god! But I do not get. I think the balsamic vinaigrette and the olive oil on it, but I do everything else because for some reason I know for
I'd go
some
with
reason
mayo instead, probably.
Yeah, for some reason on my club sandwich, I don't enjoy that as much. But normally in like a salad and stuff like that, I fucking love it. So I don't know why my brain doesn't like it on this specific sandwich.
For me, it's like a supreme breadstick. You know, like you go to an Italian restaurant, they give you breadsticks, but then they also give you oil and like the seasonings and then like balsamic vinegar.
I love that.
It's like that, but it's all like on the inside. It's like a mozzarella stick, except not a mozzarella stick. It's like a supreme sandwich breadstick thing that I can just...
And maybe I would appreciate it more if I watched them put it on at Jersey Mike's, sat down and ate it right then. But I think it always makes it just a hint soggy for me, and I don't appreciate that.
Oh, I can see that.
I'll agree with you because I got a sandwich once from Quiznos. They were doing a limited time sandwich, and it had... it featured pesto and a balsamic vinaigrette on it, and I sat down and I ate it there because it was like a lunch break for work. I guarantee if I would have taken that sandwich home, it would have been awful. But since I was eating it fresh right there, it was pretty good.
Did it have the little rats on it with the face?
No, thank God. They abandoned... They are commercials. Good. I'm so glad they don't make those anymore. Those commercials were awful.
No, I like the... I don't know, Italian, not dressing, but like olive oil, whatever they put on there. You know what I'm talking about? Like with the olive oil, with the seasonings.
Italian dressing.
It's not, no, it's not Italian dressing because it's not dressing. It's like an oil.
You know, sometimes oil is used as dressing.
Oh my fucking God. You guys are just so fucking terrible. Oh,
look it up. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit here and have an existential crisis. Weren't we supposed to be talking about being sick or New Year's or something like that?
Yeah, we segued into whatever this is.
That's true. We are going with the looser structure.
We segued into bread, and I think that's a wonderful segue.
I do love bread, though.
I love bread so much. You know,
I made homemade bread the other day. So that we could have homemade grilled cheese sandwiches with homemade tomato bisque.
Oh, that sounds delicious, actually.
That's funny. I was excited about this.
It was just the gap, and you're like, I made homemade bread the other day, and I was like, okay, like, is there more
as much as the Brontosaurus? Okay.
But then you continued, and it was a really great story, and I love to know about it. It was fantastic. That does sound delicious, Anthony.
Welcome to the shop where two gay men with beards talk about new sundry item in each episode.
Joe, that's you and me. Oh my God, I was just making a joke. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to agree with your pouting. My bad.
It's okay.
Well, also, there's been a lot of news already this year. I hate to bring the mood down, but I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about what happened on New Year's Day in Japan. That terrible earthquake.
God, right? What an omen to the year.
Yikes. I just read an article a few hours ago, actually, as of January 4th of this taping. A few hours ago, they said that they're still looking for survivors. There's not nearly enough aid coming in. They're approving a lot of money going in, but it's hard to get things in there because not only was it on a peninsula, so a lot of the roads had been severed. Also, some of the larger ships that are trying to get supplies in can't get into the harbors because the seabed buckled from the earthquake. So, I mean, I'm thinking about them right now, and I wish maybe there's something I could do to help them, but God, that's just a horrible situation to go through, especially on the first day of the new year.
Well, and especially after it wasn't that long ago that they had the same drastic scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That the only reason we heard more of it was because of that nuclear, that nuclear electrical plant had that issue from the tsunami. And I feel like the only reason we heard about it more was because we might see the effects of it in just a heightened bit of radiation.
Because it would affect our country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ugh.
But the videos I've seen on TikTok are pretty intense. It looked terrifying.
Yeah, I saw one from a girl that was like live streaming on Twitch, and her phone went off with the alarm, and she immediately knew to run outside. So like she just left her phone recording, and it recorded like the whole inside of her house shaking, and it was pretty intense. And I saw some like office buildings and some exterior shots of some buildings crumbling and the dust clouds coming up. It was really strong. It was 7.6 on the scale, I think.
I was like 7.6 or
God.
7.9. I can't remember.
That is insane.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of bad news, I just saw today or yesterday that we are currently, talking back on sickness, we are currently in the second highest COVID surge, I can't talk, on record so far.
So far, since like January 2020,
Since all of COVID started.
Oh
I mean,
my gosh.
If you look at cases in 2020 versus 2021 and 2022 and 2023, like it's child's play comparatively. It's so surprising to me that we were treating it with such care initially, and then the fuck-its happened, and it just got so out of control that it became a part of life because you couldn't, like, nobody was enforcing anything.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
people were enforcing things. It's just you have your select group that's just like, you can't tell me what to do. And so if you're going to tell me what to do, I'm obviously going to do the opposite. Which, I get it. I can be that way about situations. But I'm not that way when it's going to affect anyone else but me.
Yeah.
It felt like this weird apex of the initial shock of the pandemic. Everyone freaked out. Everything shut down. We didn't know quite what it was, how it was transmitted, all that stuff. Everyone took it seriously up to a point, and then companies, I'm not rubbing only them in, but they were a big player, were like, oh no, we're losing too much money. Okay, come back to work, kind of. We'll keep you safe. You're essential. You're heroes. So come back to work. And then people came back, and
hero
people...
pay?
Right. And then people weren't taking it seriously, and then there was talk of this vaccine coming, so people were starting to get a little more relaxed. Then the vaccine did come, and people were starting to get vaccinated or not because they didn't want to. So then you had this whole apex mix of like people that were vaccinated, people that didn't want to get vaccinated, but they felt safe enough to go out in public, so people didn't want to wear masks anymore. And then it all started to slow down, and people weren't dying as much, it appeared. And then it wasn't as severe anymore, and then business went back to normal. And now I feel like we're in this zone of everyone thinks that it's over, where it's not over. It's just something we live with now. It's just less severe. So that's where I sympathize way less with people that aren't vaccinated, because you should have gotten vaccinated. And especially at this point, with all of the research they've been able to do since the vaccination came out. I mean, if you're not vaccinated, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you get sick, that's on you, obviously. Sorry. I know that's not a popular opinion, but that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those situations where my brain's like, what can I do to at least prevent myself from suffering even more? So I just try to get all the vaccines that I'm capable of, but I know, like, whooping cough, I can't, allegedly. I have an allergy to it, so I can't do that one. Allegedly, I have an allergy, according to my mom.
I was like, what does that mean, allegedly?
Well, it's one of those situations where when you're a baby, it's super duper duper easy to overdose on some vaccines, and that one is not hard to overdose on. And so I got a huge fever from it, and they were like, nope, he's allergic. And so it wouldn't shock me if they just happened to give me a little too much dosage. Or my mom could be like Dee Dee Blanchard of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and she's like, no, you're allergic to everything, honey.
Oh my god.
She's out.
See? My
I mean,
mom's
good
better
for
off
her.
than her. Yeah, good for her. That's
Good for her.
You know, Frank kind of got me stuck on watching that, and we've been watching it on, like, the Hulu show and then the HBO documentary, and I'm like, I know that legally Gypsy Rose did deserve jail legally, but I also am like, I'm still on her side. I'm like, I get where you're coming from and why you did it, and I can justify it based on your situation, even though I know it's wrong to do that. I'm like,
so this is
weird.
where, when we talked about the law and going into law as a career and why it's not an ideal career for somebody who has morals, it's because the moral thing and the legal thing are not the same thing.
And sometimes they align, and sometimes they don't align. And there's sometimes where it stretches very far apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was actually one thing that strayed me away from wanting to like chase law down and do law work, because I started going, wait a minute. I could defend somebody that's completely guilty and win just because I accidentally found the better argument legally. Mm-hmm. When really, they went in, they murdered someone, blah, 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 blah. I just happen to have the better argument.
It's not even that. There are certain things that are entirely legal that are completely amoral or immoral.
Yeah.
You know, amoral at best, immoral at worst.
Yeah. But that was a fun story. If you haven't watched it, the show on Hulu is called The Act. And, what's her name? Patricia Rutledge is the mom.
All right.
Is that her name?
Patricia Arquette?
No!
Maybe.
That's right. Sorry.
Is it Patricia Arquette? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I only said that because we've been watching Severance, and you should definitely watch Severance.
I think the book that I was looking up earlier, their last name was Rutledge, and I guess that's still stuck in my head. But yeah, it's Patricia Arquette is the mom in it.
Really? Good on me for guessing that out
Good
of
job.
fucking nowhere.
Because I was about to be like, that's not right, but it's close. What is it?
So it's definitely been a bumpy roller coaster ride, and we're only 4 days into 2024 so far.
As of this recording date.
Well, and then not to pile more. So earlier when I messaged you and I told you guys that I was trying to find positive things to do for the bingo card, which you guys will get to hear more about later. I had just read an article about the school shooting in Iowa.
Oh my God, yes.
It was their first day back. And a 6th grader was killed. It was a 17-year-old. He had posted a video to TikTok of him in the bathroom with a blue bag that said, "And now we wait." That's all I really know about it. Other than I saw it was either the sheriff or some sort of law enforcement officer who was like, "We're just glad that it happened early in the morning. Otherwise, you know, it could have been worse than it was." And I was like, there's a kid that's dead. There's a kid that's fucking dead.
Why on earth are we looking at this and going, but you know what? It could have been worse.
It could have been. I get it that it could have been worse, but holy fucking shit, a kid is dead.
I mean, this is the same concept as Joe's Christmas song, where she's like, the dad actually makes it home, and they're like, there's this bus full of people dead, but you know what? Christmas is going to be great because it worked out for us.
Because I didn't die. Me. And it made me so fucking angry. And I don't know. I'm trying to be more positive this year in spite of the news, because I know that it focuses sorely on like negative events in our lives. But that is just one thing that Beardos, I don't like kids. I don't care for kids. They're just not my thing. But I don't want them to get shot in schools. I want us to do something about it. I want us to do some fucking thing to try, at least, if Republicans think you can make laws to prevent drag queens from reading stories to children, why can't we try to make laws to prevent people from getting shot in fucking school? Oh, sorry.
You know why? Because thoughts and prayers, that's why.
And I'm also hating how desensitized I am towards this news, because it feels like every time I see something about it, I'm just like, oh, another one.
This one, and I don't know what hit me about it. I think maybe it was just that one comment that really struck me the wrong way, but I was reading about it and I was it made me so upset. And granted, like, I'm not I'm not anywhere near it. Not in any meaningful way. But it fucking... I don't know. It upsets me because I just feel like it is a testament to the skewed priorities we have in this country at the place where we are at in our sort of technological era. And we have all of this time to think about these things and to work on these things, and we don't do it because some guy somewhere who has a wall full of fucking semi-automatic rifles and maybe a fucking rocket launcher, depending on the state he lives in, might be upset if you try to take his guns, where he doesn't realize that if the government really wanted to fucking take his guns, they take his guns, or they just kill him outright without ever showing up on his doorstep.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just upsetting to me to see us not doing anything, to see the inaction of an entire country on something that is impacting us in such a way that it happens to the point that we are anesthetized to it.
Yeah. So
I've given up hope on gun reform, unfortunately. I don't think it's ever going to change at this point.
With that being said, since you mentioned that you were trying to think more positively this year, should we move on to our New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I think that probably would be a good idea.
All right, coming up, we'll talk about our New Year's resolutions right after this. You're listening to Jay, Anthony, and Joe on the Beards and Sundries podcast, the podcast rated 5 out of 6 balls. So, guys, did you make resolutions this year?
I didn't make resolutions so much as I have tried to focus, even before the end of the year, on specific changes to my lifestyle.
Same. I don't make resolutions. I make stair-step improvements that'll continue the rest of my life.
Yeah, it feels like a resolution is more of an ultimatum, and I just never succeed at those because it's just such a bottom line thing and such a hard stop that it's just overwhelming, and it feels like it'll never happen.
And I feel like a resolution is something you do to yourself versus setting personal growth goals as something you do for yourself. And it's easier for me to swallow doing something for it's easier for me to swallow doing something for myself than doing something to myself.
Yeah, because I feel like the last 3 years I focused a lot more on mental health, and I've seen substantial growth in how I view things and how I've changed over the years. And so it's kind of one of those where I'm just like, I'm going to find another niche of something that I've noticed the last year that I really want to work on. And so, like, for example, this year, I'm like, all right, we're going to unwrap my self-deprivation and my people pleasing. We're going to work on that a little bit more and figure out where it comes from, how we can solve it, and what do we want to see from it, things like that. And it seems like every year when I do that, it's quite beneficial.
I think for me, it's focusing on self-talk in the direction that I sort of approach my bad habits from. So I've gotten into such a strong, and I don't want to take, I've gotten into a strong bad habit of drinking pretty much every day at this point. And I don't want to do that, but it's habitual. It doesn't feel like, I don't wake up in the morning thinking, ooh, I want a drink. I have to have a drink. I've got the shakes. I can't have a drink. I need to have a drink. I get to the house. I settle in. I get relaxed. And around 7 p.m., I pour myself a drink. And I want to do better about that because I don't think it's doing me any favors at this point. Like, it's just not beneficial to myself, and it's keeping me from being as motivated and energetic towards my other goals as I could be. So I see it as sort of this foundational step of reducing the amount that I do drink. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I'm trying to approach it from a more gentle standpoint than I have in the past, and not put myself down about it so much as I say, okay, you know, you fumbled, you made a misstep. It's okay. Just keep working at it. Just keep focusing.
And that's how I started altering things in the past few years. Is it's time to stop punishing myself when I don't do something properly.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're raised to do. Like, every time you do something wrong, you have to scold, punish, and be in trouble. And I decided, I was like, okay, well, people aren't perfect. So what I need to do is just be like, well, we don't want to do that. So is there stuff we can do to figure out how not to do that and improve it in the future? And so that's the step I've really started taking also.
Yeah, and I think that's been, when I say New Year's resolution / my new like goal is really just to be more gentle with myself in the changes that I do want to make, and starting with really 2 basic things, and that's just reducing the amount that I do drink, having sober days where I don't drink at all, and then writing every day, even if it's a little bit, even if it's just a couple hundred, even if I only get 1 sentence onto the page, just something to where I build a writing habit where I'm not just coming back to it from an empty standpoint.
Yeah.
Because when I'm in a good habit, the process is wonderful. It really just, I don't know, it helps get things out of you, and it does that for me. So those are the 2 things that I want to focus on going forward right now.
Yeah. Good. Nice. What about you, Joe?
Thanks.
Basically, building off of what Anthony said about the alcohol, like, I've fallen into that cycle too, and I don't want to say that we enable each other, but we don't discourage each other either.
Yeah,
so
we don't do.
Going forward, we're going to start working on, do you really need to drink tonight? Or do you think you should? Or let's not drink tonight, we got to work tomorrow. We're going to start doing some stepping stones. I actually went 1 step smaller than making a mood board like a white woman, but I went ahead and I made a sign for the inside of our garage door because I park backwards in the garage. And it says motivational things like, you don't need this, you'll feel awful tomorrow. So, like, if I'm tempted to go up the street to the liquor store and I get in my car, I have to physically look at that sign in front of my face and then open the garage and then violate that rule. And I need to stop violating those rules that I set for myself, and I think that will start helping. And I also think that talking to people about it and being more candid about it will also help too. And I just think that having a better support system and allowing myself to have a better support system rather than thinking that everyone's just going to judge me for it will help me achieve those steps forward, and I'll get better. Now, am I going to be stone cold sober from here on out and go years and years? No. I know my personality way too well. I cannot do cold turkey. It just won't work. I'll fail, and then I'll relapse, and then I'll get back off the wagon. So I'm going to work on small spurts, small stretches of time, and then try to get those habits more ingrained so that it's easier to just have a casual drink with a friend or have a drink on a night that I'm off the next day, and not just drink myself to sleep every night, wake up on the couch at 4 a.m. and then feel like shit the next day, every day.
Well, because it puts you to sleep so well, but it's terrible sleep after you get it. Yeah, and then, like, I would wake up hot and all that jazz, so I actually did the same thing. I was like, you're going to drink a little bit less this year. While nothing's out of control, I think that with all of your health issues from, life, it would be beneficial.
And and that's the whole thing about it, is that we've been taught by our parents and the generation that raised us that you're one of 2 things. You're a normal drinker, or you're an alcoholic, or you're sober. I guess there's a third thing, but you're none of the in-betweens. Like, there's no space for anything else. So if you recognize that maybe you're doing something a little more compulsively than you want to, then you're an alcoholic and you can't do it anymore. And we don't do that with anything else in our society. We don't say, like, oh, you've been on your phone a whole bunch, you need to throw your phone away.
Yeah. Well, and I'm so focused on getting away from that whole thought process of, especially like my parents, of black and white lines.
Yep.
Here's a level you should be. You're at this level, so obviously it's a problem. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of gray in life.
There's so much gray. And I think there's a lot of...
Oh, my beard.
It's hot, though. Oh, our friend Colby, who was down visiting us, he was like, oh, you've got a dog hair in your beard. And he tried to pick it out of me. He was like, oh, wait. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was a great hair, huh?
Oops.
I'm used to them. I can see them.
Good job, Colby. Thanks for doing that.
Thanks, Colby. Well, then, if you guys have set all your goals, do you guys think it's time for a commercial?
For sure.
Time for the first commercial of 2024.
Perfect.
Yes.
And now, for a word from our sponsor, the Beards and Sundries Mocktail of the Month Club.
With the New Year's resolutions all the rage on January 1st, it's time we stop shaming people for not continuing alcoholism, like most of us do, to drown out the reality weighing down on us. So, come in today to pick up your Beards and Sundries Mocktail of the Month Club membership. It'll come with a little booklet of mocktail recipes designed for each month of the year. All of them are customizable if you want to add additional flavors. You'll find your favorites like, in April, the Shitstorm. Just mix non-alcoholic Kentucky 74 with ginger beer. Or the Hurricane for June, since it's the start of hurricane season. Made with zero-proof rum, lime juice, and passion fruit puree. Or, of course, your favorite, the Christmas classic from the old favorite story about St. Nicholas, from our story in the last episode of Season 3, The Piss Pig. Just mix lemonade and ginger beer, and a dash of grenadine if you have a kidney issue. So, respect your friends' wishes, and be the bartender for everyone by picking up your Beards and Sundries Cocktail of the Month Club book today. Hey guys, make sure you follow and subscribe to our podcast so you can receive a notification every Sunday when a new episode drops. I can't wait to pick up that. What is it again? The Mocktail Guide, right?
Leaving that in.
I can't wait to pick up that Mocktail Guide.
I can't wait to pick up that thing we talked about, Beardos. The thing that we talked about before the commercial, that the commercial was about? You remember the thing?
I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. I was on my cell phone because I have a problem, according to my mom.
Your mom has a problem. She's a boomer. She took you to a female Christian therapist in hopes that you would, become straight because of the boobs?
I'm still trying to figure out the logic behind that one. But I also love the older generation bitching about younger people on their phone. And I'm like, do you know who I always see in public on their phone? They have the loudest quacking like ringtone. This. Yeah. And their font is this big.
Yeah. They're so fucking terrible. Anyways.
And you're in a quiet show. And all of a sudden you hear, da 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 da.
It's always that one.
At my parents' house, you hear quack, quack.
Oh my god.
My mom's ringtone literally is the da-na-na-na-na.
Yes, my stepdad says too. And you know that whenever they were going through their phone with their glasses kind of on the tip of their nose and they're like trying to trombone the phone, like figure out how close it should be for the vision, they're scrolling through ringtones and then they tap that one and it goes dun 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 and they're like, oh yeah, this one sounds like a real good one. And
cool, cats and kittens.
Like, I'm gonna sound great when this goes off.
I gotta tell you, though, really surprising to me, yesterday, my mom reset her Gmail password on her own. Originally, I set my number as her backup number, just in case, because, every time she had to reset, it was awful. It was awful trying to get it done. So the code came to my phone, and then she kept having them call me, so, at least there was that a little bit of a boomer thing, but...
It always makes me think of Titus Andromedon from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt when he's putting in his PIN number and he's like, Grandma's birthday, January 2nd, 1934. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I told my parents once, whenever they kept having password problems, I basically kind of had a rant. And I said, everyone in the world has to keep track of their own passwords. This isn't going away. This is something you have to learn. Why is it my responsibility to know all of my passwords and yours? If you can't handle this, you shouldn't have the device, because I was so annoyed because they kept interrupting me at a meeting. And I'm like, this is not my problem. This is your problem.
It's because their generation for the most part, ends up being so entitled that they think everybody else should be doing that for them. Ooh, that's a whole other episode. Go listen to Bitch, You're at Chili's.
Don't worry, we'll just probably end up having another one.
Bitch, You're at Chili's too.
Keep listening.
Applebee's.
It's coming.
You know, I can really tell when I can taste that grenadine start to hit. I'm really at the sweet spot of my piss pig beverage.
Oh, God.
God, I hate that. Since we already talked a little bit about that and then boomers, can we just go ahead and go on to Beardo submitted sundries?
My favorite mocktail comes from the user content that is up.
Ooh, what a good segue, Jay.
What a transition. Go ahead.
Thanks. It was all I could make up right on a whim. And first, it was right after the Christmas episode came out, we heard from Jorge.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Jorge.
And it was a quick one, and I just love this. And he said, that episode was so good. All of the stories were excellent in their own ways.
Aw,
And thank you. Because we all three worked hard on them, and I loved
did.
that episode.
It was a great episode.
Yes.
I liked it.
Thank you.
And then next, we heard from Derek with the good beard. And he said, Happy New Year, Beardos. I hope that each of you had a very nice New Year and New Year's celebration. Borrowing from a meme that I also posted on my socials, I'm being real with myself and I'm not making any resolutions. Nobody likes a cheap, skinny, sober bitch anyways. What are some of your resolutions, or anti-resolutions, which we answered for you at the beginning? You're welcome. Then, he also listed off some bingo square ideas for 2024, which I will bring up in our game segment when we start making our 2024 bingo cards. Anyways, he finished off with saying, thanks for a great 2023, and I look forward to exciting content for 2024.
Thanks, Derek.
Then next, we heard from
George and Anthony.
And Anthony. Hello, and Merry Christmas to you and Frank and Joe and Anthony. We watched the episode last night, which this is the last episode of last season, our Christmas one, and all the stories were amazing. Thanks, Anthony, for us, because now every time I have to go pee, I say, I'm gonna go make the toilet my piss pig.
You're welcome.
I just imagine him in the bathroom, and he's like, on piss pig, and he's like whipping it as he's also peeing. Anyways. They also had some ideas for the 2024 Beardo Bingo card, so I will save that for the next segment. And they said,
Excellent.
Hope your Christmas was great, and you guys have a great New Year. Can't wait for Season 4. George and Anthony.
Aw,
Thanks, boys.
It's always good to hear from you.
Yes, and that is all the user content I have this week.
And thank you for the Christmas card. We appreciate it.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. I still have everyone's Christmas cards up on my cabinet, so...
Do we have something to check out?
I have one this week. So to bring us into 2024, I have one that kind of hit me a little harder than I thought it would right in the feels, and it is a small short film called Nuggets. And if you search Nuggets Kiwi, that's Nuggets and then Kiwi, like the bird, it'll bring it up, no problem. And it is a 5-minute short video, and it's just a little animation of a small kiwi bird walking along a path. Then he encounters a little golden nugget on the ground, and he passes it by, and then another one comes along, and he kind of pokes at it, is kind of curious about it, and then consumes the golden nugget. And then it shows the kiwi bird go through a journey of enjoying the nugget, coming back down to Earth, going and going and going, and then things go south for the kiwi bird. I won't ruin it for you, but what it did for me was it showed me kind of a simplified version of what I saw myself currently. Drinking a drink, flying high in the air, coming back down, and crashing harder each time. And it, honestly, the first time I watched it, it made me cry because it seemed so relatable and it was so simple and so easy of a representation of not just drinking. It could be for drug use, could be for an eating disorder, could be any kind of mental health addiction. But it was just so powerful to see such a simple animation convey such a heavy message in the short span of 5 minutes. And I've started watching it every time I feel like cracking open a drink, and it has stopped me a couple times. So if you're struggling, or if you want to see the visual representation of what an addiction can do to someone, if you need to understand it from the outside, it is a very powerful video, and I can't recommend it enough.
We'll link it in the show notes, and I will say I almost cried as well, which is about as far along as crying as I ever get.
Wow. That must be a good one then.
But moving on from that, let's bring things back up a little bit. I think it's time for a very exciting game time to start the new year. Let's do the game and build the card.
Bingo 2024.
Would you guys like to hear what we got from the beardos first?
Yeah, actually I would, because I feel like I want to put beardo stuff on there before we put
I would
our stuff
love
on
to put
there.
beardo stuff first.
Yeah.
And then we can fill in the
got
blanks with what we have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I'll put all these on my spreadsheet, get it all built up, and then I'll add yours whenever you say them. So number one, from Derek, we received like 7. And the first one was after the third occurrence where Anthony needs to be reminded about asking if the Sundries of the week are available at the market. This was on our card last year. If the B&S market receives actual sponsorship.
Oh,
Okay.
well, that could happen this year, actually.
I do appreciate that one. And then also number 3, one member of Congress is forced to resign before the election cycle.
Ooh.
Okay.
I know, I was like, interesting one. I like that. Number 4, one of the products in the B&S commercials becomes commercially available. I like the idea of t-shirts from the most popular brands.
That's good. I have a square very similar, so let's do that later instead.
Number 5. A severe natural phenomenon will severely impact half of the U.S., be it a blizzard, extreme cold or heat, hurricane, earthquake, murder hornets, etc. Which,
I mean,
if we land on that one, we basically just got one.
half the U.S.
Oh, wait, no, U.S. Sorry.
US. Yeah.
My brain went
I like
globally.
that one, and I think it will happen. I mean,
I think it will, too.
It's sort of an easy one, but, I mean, mine are easy, too, so...
My brain went right to Yellowstone erupting, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Whew.
Oh, God. Well, if that's it, then that's the end of the podcast, guys. Number 6, an airline will have a catastrophic schedule interruption. You know, nowadays they're supposed to be receiving pretty hefty fines for that.
Supposed to be.
And then, yeah. Lastly, number 7, a third-party candidate will run for president. Which usually one does, and I think he's meaning like a third-party candidate will be like a big candidate.
Like, on the ballot. Like,
yeah, like legit on the ballot. We're going to be debating between Democrat, Republican, and Independent or something like that. Like, heavy. So I think I'm going to phrase it. I'm going to phrase it that way. Yeah, but I like the idea.
Yeah. Wish it into existence.
Wish it.
Honestly, it's scaring me right now watching the news and being like, Chris Christie sounds okay. I know, and I'm just like, ah. And I received several from George and Anthony. So I have one called, the first one, free space, can be Joe puts on glasses topper.
Every episode.
Yeah. Free. And then other spaces. Anthony forgets to ask Joe what sundries can be found in aisle 4. I haven't read through these emails yet, so I'm loving this.
It's not really a hard year. I just... I've gone back to work, so I'm mentally drained.
I love that so much. Joe gets annoyed when Jay and Anthony go off the rails.
Okay. So, for the record, Joe derails this podcast just as much as we do. It's just that it's edited out.
Yes, somebody has a little bit more control of how their derailments go.
Serious.
Chop, chop, chop.
Next one, Jay wins a game. Yeah, you know what? Chance that won't happen. That's nice.
Hey, we have a
You
soundbite.
got a whole
for it.
year, baby.
Next one, dog or cat makes an appearance in the background, which I literally saw Blanche earlier, so perfect.
Oh, always.
Yeah. Jay sings his intro. I could do that.
I can see that.
I'll hold on to that one until I might win. So, guys, I like this one. No voicemail guilt trip.
Oh, that's definitely possible.
And then also Jay drinks something other than an alcoholic beverage, which is already happening because I said I was going to stop drinking while recording.
I think
They don't know
George and
that.
Anthony, it would be more difficult to say Joe and Anthony drink something other than an alcoholic beverage during the podcast. Which I think is what we should make that into.
We can edit it a little bit and be like, hey, we liked your idea. We edited it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more likely that Jay will not drink, whereas I am currently drinking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the past actual 2 or 3 recordings, I've been like, nah, I'm fine. And their last one, this one will be hard to get. The lone nut gets mentioned.
Oh my god. I mean, it's on the shirts. It's the podcast rated 5 out of 6 balls.
Which I really want to lean into that more this year, too.
The lone nut.
The lone nut. Maybe that'll be my new nickname.
Partner Testo.
I thought maybe somebody else had sent us an idea, but I can't remember if they did or not. So that's 15 and then a free space with your glasses.
Okay.
And if we go plenty over the amount of squares, it'll work because we can randomize it, and then like some people will have like real bingo.
I get that. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'll pull up the spreadsheet, and since you guys have made up some ideas, just bounce back and forth, throw them at me, I'll list them, and then if I think of any additional ideas, I'll throw them in there also.
Okay.
And then we'll
cool.
set it up on a randomizer.
Sure. Joe, you had 10. I only have 8, so why don't you start first?
All right. I'll just go right down my list. My first one is Grand Theft Auto 6 second trailer released.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice.
I took one from last year that I'm putting into this year that will be a lot more feasible this year because I'm focusing a lot more on it. Anthony publishes his novel.
For sure, I like that.
And that just dropped my list down to 9. Yes! Hooray! All right. My second one is, I'm also bringing back another one from last year because I really want it to happen. And, given my understanding of the linear passage of time, it's way more likely. Jim Inhofe dies.
And that just brought my list down to 7. Except mine said #manifesting.
Nice.
Ooh, I'm going to add one really quick. Election night will not be announced on the actual election night.
I believe it.
Will
I believe
not
it too.
have results
Yep.
Again.
announced on election night. Okay, Anthony?
Yep. So my next one is Anthony starts a new novel because he's learned to love the process of writing and not the idea of it.
Oh, God. Bitch, shout that from the mountain tops. We need that kind of energy for 2024, beardos. Send us all the love on that one.
Please. Seriously.
I just thought of another one. Jay lands on something that he actually wants to write. Because I always want to write something.
I feel like the process of writing is you write something and then you figure out what it is you were trying to write when you finished writing it. And then you do this process of elimination of what you weren't trying to write until you figure out what it is that you are trying to write.
I'm trying to grasp like the first part of that and being like, what direction do I even want to try?
Anyways.
Sorry, Joe, your turn.
All right, my next one is a little bit broader than last year, so maybe we can actually get the square this year. And I put hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth occurs.
Ooh. I was kind of mad at myself for not doing Earth.
Yeah, because last year we put the U.S., and it's more likely to happen somewhere else on Earth.
Yeah. This year it'll be in the U.S. in Death Valley, and I'm like, motherfucker.
It'll be right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, my next one is not from last year, so it is Anthony goes on his first solo primitive camping trip.
Nice.
I have all the gear I need for it. And I've been wanting to go to the Ouachitas to go up to, like, Snake Mountain and do a hammock camping trip there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
He's going to be a cottage whore.
I am a cottage whore. Thank you.
All right. My next one is we officially release merch.
Okay. Yep.
And I know you would probably have to outsource some of that, Jay, but like companies that do screen printing or like stuff like that.
Yep.
But I'm thinking like
You should for sure.
stationery, pens, of course, clothing for
Shirts.
sure. I've already
Shirts,
got a lot of people hitting us up about shorts.
I've been on the same thing. I've been like, I can't do it all. I have to.
The shorts
we're gonna have
are the
to
hard part.
get this out. And that's why I was like, the shorts I can do because they do not eat a lot of time. But once we start doing shorts, shirts, all this other stuff, I'm just like, then it starts to eat time.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think I'm gonna pick one that I'm gonna run, and then the rest we'll have to give out, which will be pretty easy. So I'm gonna add one that I thought of. And I know you guys have read about the article about the developer who updated this new development that they want to do in Oklahoma City that includes the second tallest building in the U.S. being in Oklahoma City.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my god.
So I
What a
wrote
joke.
that the new building proposed in OKC will actually be approved and be the second tallest building in the U.S.
No way.
I don't think it'll happen, but
how?
I know it won't happen, but I just wanted to put it in there and be like, it'll actually be approved.
Well, then keep that shit off my card.
Yeah, seriously. What
Well,
a
we need a
terrible
challenge.
idea for Oklahoma.
I fucking love it. It's so funny.
Our neighbor's privacy fence couldn't handle a 100-mile-per-hour wind. Do you think the second tallest building in the country is going to be fine in the middle of Tornado Alley?
Nope.
Oh, well, it's on the list now.
That ends up on my card. I'm going to fucking kick your ass.
I'm going to be very upset. So my next one is we start a Patreon.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got to get good at following these goals. I feel like every week we're chasing our tails.
So Jay and I talked about this in December, but I got sick for like all of December. So we talked about doing a Beards and Sundries Noir serialized program for you guys, where we had one that was 25 to 30 minutes each every week on around Wednesday or Thursday. If that's something you're interested in, let us know. Otherwise, if it's not something you're interested in, let us know what you would be interested in for Patreon content.
If you have ideas of what you would like in Patreon, also don't hesitate to send that. That way, maybe we can weigh it as an option.
Yeah, for sure.
I know what they want for Patreon content, and it's not
It's
porn.
not going to be sexy.
It's not going to be sexy.
I'm sorry. I am not going to be sexy for money.
Check out my
They're like, "Come on."
OnlyFans
But
at
wait a minute.
OnlyFans.com/suckthisdick.
Yeah, that's a different page you have to pay for.
Yeah. All right, so next up for mine, I put Mitch McConnell freezes in public again.
Oh, that easy one.
I know. Trying to get the bingo this year.
Okay, so my next one is the pod reaches 1K downloads per week consistently.
Okay. So to put it in perspective, what have we been hitting kind of consistently?
Large 800s to mid 900s, depending on.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know we were doing that well.
Yeah,
right.
we're doing all right.
We're doing okay.
We're growing more than I anticipated. Now,
Yeah.
All right, for my next one, I put, this is going to be a bit of a personal one for me, and we'll see if I can do it. I can't guarantee anything, but we'll put it on the card and see if it can happen. Joe doesn't drink alcohol for 30 days straight.
I think you can.
I
You're
think it's
pretty
possible
motivated.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I can too. I'm putting it in the same vein as Joe reaches 200 pounds. Like, if it doesn't happen, I won't feel terrible about it, but I also know that I'm a human. So, it's kind of like a,
But I think,
whatever.
like, you've got motivation for it.
I like to think so. Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. My next one is... this one we have all year for. Joe and Anthony actually send out holiday cards this Christmas season.
Ooh.
We did
you know,
last year.
Okay.
Well, year
We
before last,
printed
I
a
guess, now.
couple of mock-ups. That was as far as it went.
I did it the year before last, and this year I was so sick I just didn't nothing happened. We barely got the Christmas tree up. It was only thanks to Joe that the Christmas tree was put up.
And I'll say that Ricky, our corgi, is getting up there in the years. It would be so cute to do one professional family photo shoot and be like that cringy white family, but I think it'd be
Obviously.
nice to have a nice family photo.
Well,
we'll
for
see.
sure.
I mean, have you seen my recent Facebook posts with me and Reggie doing our cheesy pictures all the time now at the holidays?
Yes.
I saw the TikTok you sent earlier where he's like, it is cute.
It's so cute. He's just so cute.
All right, so next up, I have just kind of a fun one that I thought would be kind of cute and whimsical, and it would make me happy personally. McDonald's brings back the snack wrap.
Oh, I kind of miss those.
Yeah. The crispy one with ranch was so good. And I know you can make them at home. I know you can copycat them very easily. I know KFC has one. I know a couple other places have their own version. It just... The fucking snack wrap from McDonald's was so good. And it
So
was
convenient.
You could trick yourself into eating healthy by getting the grilled one. And it was so convenient. And I just want them to come back. And I'm not alone.
You can still get a fucking McDonald's Coke, which is what I'm after.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Okay.
Jay learns sequel this year. It's a goal for work.
I understand what sequel is.
No, I'm saying it's a goal for work.
No,
Not
I get it.
I just I need to know, I need to learn how to use it.
It's not that bad. Are you having
It's
to
not.
enter
It's
the
just-
data or pull the data?
It'd be both. No, actually, no. I wouldn't be entering it anymore. I would only be pulling data, which is why I'm not too concerned.
The entering is the hard part. The pulling is the easy part.
Well, actually, it depends. I could be entering it for other reasons. So never mind, I'm going to learn it all.
That could be tough for Jay because usually he's the one pushing.
That's true.
Keep making that face.
Well, you know what? New year, new me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to do both.
Joe, keep going.
No.
I got one last one on my list. Anthony repairs his grandma's well house. Finally.
Did you say well house?
Well house. Her
Okay,
well
that's what I
house
was
has
thinking.
been, so there's a board that has been rotted, and the whole thing needs to get painted. So We've been meaning to do this since late year before last. So 2022, last quarter, we've been meaning to do this, and now I just need to knock it out.
Do it. Get it done.
Thank you. I will.
I support you. Joe, do you have any more?
I have 2 left plus 1 bonus.
Okay.
And these next couple, plus the bonus, actually, a little bit, are going to play off of my following through with getting my alcohol under control. So, with the first one, Joe learns Spanish.
Oh my god, that has been a goal for me so long.
Yeah, I get that.
I would have put a second language, but I want to focus on Spanish because, one, it's the second most spoken language in this country. I think it's very beneficial to know it. I encounter Spanish speakers a lot in my current workplace, and it would be very beneficial for me to know how to converse with them, and I think it would help a lot. And I like the language. I can kind of understand it sort of well enough to stumble through a conversation. I just want to build upon that and become more fluent in the language. So, Spanish it is.
Nice.
And then the next one, also a hobby, Joe learns to knit and or crochet and or macrame. And I think that'd be a fun way to keep myself busy, to create things, maybe even sell something if I'm good at it. And I know someone who could probably give me some pretty good lessons. And this special someone is also riding down with us to TBRU at the end of March, so we'd have plenty of time to practice on the car ride. So,
And you better learn it
let's do
really
it.
quick, because we're going to make this merch. No, I'm kidding.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'll get good at, making things from yarn, and get some more focus on doing that instead of drinking myself to death.
Mine's literally on display with a figurine of a French bulldog in the living room, so you look at me when you look at the TV.
So maybe that will be a more constructive use of my time.
Very nice.
Perfect.
What was your last one?
My last one is a big, big, big one, and that's why I saved it for last, because it's a doozy. And that is, Joe pays off his Southwest Visa card. So, I have a Southwest Visa, and it is not maxed out. It is close to maxed out, and I've been working on paying it off and on for about a little over a year now, and the interest payment is just such a obstacle because I'm close to the higher end of the limit on the credit card limit. So I want to get to a good spot where I'm putting more money towards that than other things that I should be putting money towards. So I don't know if I'm going to pay it all the way off, but we're going to put it on the bingo card as a sign of good faith.
Heck yeah.
So, Beardos, we know that we've just built a bingo card with you, and we want to leave this more open-ended. We're going to give you guys until the end of January if you would like to submit some more bingo squares, because we're not limiting it at 25 this year. We're going to have a whole list of options because Jay's randomizer will make it so that all 3 of our cards don't necessarily have the same thing, just like regular bingo. So, go ahead and submit those bingo ideas. You have until the end of the month, and we're not going to debut the 2024 bingo card on our website until February this year. So, keep them coming.
If you forgot what we said, submit it anyways. Submit whatever you come to mind. If it's a duplicate, that's fine. We will not be annoyed by that.
Not at all.
Until then, I hear the music coming back on.
Yay, because this is a long episode.
And it's not playing Auld Lang Syne, thank fucking God. But
I can sing it.
it is calling out our hotline at 405-999-2242.
And Beardos, it's time for us to bingo. But it's time for us to wrap it up as well. So, if you would like to help us out, go and subscribe to our podcast so you can get reminders every Sunday when we release a new episode. We also post frequent updates on all of our social media sites for any additional sundries that we add to the market.
And don't forget to rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. Those reviews are what get us found by more listeners like you. Also, just each one of you telling a friend about the podcast would double our growth.
Don't forget to head on over to beardsandsundries.com to check out the updated website that's coming soon. And also check us out on our socials, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and email us at beardsandsundries@gmail.com.
So, from a very hopeful beginning of both Season 4 and the year 2024, here at the Beards and Sundries Market, make sure to...
Love yourself.
Because we already love you.
Ah,
Happy New Year! Love you!
I hate you, Jim Inhofe. Die!